So I'm going to be giving you an overview of the distress tolerance skills in DBT. These are skills to help you cope in a crisis without making things worse. They tend to be most useful when you're experiencing intense emotions or strong urges to harm yourself. And the idea is that you will be either distracting yourself or making the moment slightly more bearable, or using the skills to reduce the intensity of your emotions and urges. These skills are very useful for sort of those intense situations, and at the same time it's not effective if you overuse them. So they shouldn't be your only coping strategy. You should be trying to also at times use our other DBT skills. So for example, once you've calmed down a bit, you can try emotion regulation skills, mindfulness or interpersonal effectiveness skills to actually deal with the situation that's made you feel distressed in the first place. These skills are kind of divided up into two sections. So we have our crisis survival skills, and then we have our reality acceptance skills, and I'll go through both of those. So the crisis survival skills, we have one called the stop skill, which is about how to stop yourself from impulsively reacting to the situation and making things worse. So it's about how to stop, take a step back, observe what's happening and proceed in a much more mindful and effective way. Often people need that skill first so that it gives them enough time to then think about the other skills. We have the tip skill, which is one of our most effective skills, but also the one that people tend to like least, because it involves putting your face in cold water or putting ice on your face, and then using intensive exercise, paired muscle relaxation and paced breathing as ways to lower your heart rate, slow down your breathing, use up that sort of excess adrenaline that you have, and relax all of your muscles. And the skill works because the moment that you change how you're feeling physically, it then adjusts how you're feeling emotionally, because our body and our mind are linked. So the tip skill, obviously we have a video specifically going through all the steps for that. And that tends to be the one that we recommend first if someone is struggling with really intense emotions or really intense urges, because you need to use that skill to bring down the intensity enough for you to actually then focus on the other skills. If people try to jump straight to, say, distraction or self-soothing when they're very intensely distressed, then they often can't concentrate enough on those skills for them to work. Whereas if you use the tip skill first, it brings down the intensity enough that you can concentrate on those skills. So our next one is distracting yourself with the acronym ACCEPTS. So ACCEPTS stands for activities, comparisons, contributing, emotions, pushing away, thoughts and sensations. And those are all different ways that you can distract yourself in a difficult moment, so to give yourself a chance to think about something else or focus on something else for a while. So the next skill that we have is improve the moment, which is about trying to do things to make the moment slightly more bearable. So the acronym stands for imagery, meaning, prayer, relaxing, one thing, vacation, and encouragement. And those are all various ways that you can improve the moment that you're in. We also, in terms of skills, have pros and cons. So often when you are very distressed, you will be having urges to harm yourself, and you might need to weigh up the pros and cons of actually acting on that. And often if you manage to weigh those things up, you'll realise that it's far better to try and use skills to look after yourself than to actually act on the urges that you'll experience in that moment. And all of those skills that I've described are our crisis survival skills. Then we have our reality acceptance skills. So that the main one is radical acceptance, which means trying to accept the facts of the situation, even if you don't necessarily agree with them or approve of them. And that's because if you accept reality, it tends to actually reduce your suffering and allows you to try and move on from the situation. We also have the skill of half smiling and willing hands, which is a particular posture that you can take which helps you accept reality, because we know that changing your body posture also changes kind of the way that you think about things. It sends signals to your brain, and those are our main sort of reality acceptance skills. So out of all of those skills, you know, it takes a while to learn each of them. It requires a lot of practice. We recommend that you practice them when you're calm initially, so that you can really master the skill, and then it makes it a lot easier to then use it when you actually need it in that distressing moment. I will be creating videos on each of those skills with sort of step-by-step instructions and explaining how they work in more detail. But those are all of the skills that we cover in our distress tolerance module, and there are worksheets linked below if you want some more information.